Hi, hello, welcome to another raid build video. We're going to do two Pokemon today. You probably knew that by the thumbnail. It's Mew and Mewtwo. If you are new here, hi, my name is Steve. I make raid builds to make 5 and 6 and 7-star raids more bearable online. And or if you're just not sure how to build a Pokemon or what to put on a Pokemon, this is for you. We have two kind of complicated Pokemon because they can learn a lot of different moves, specifically Mew. So I'm just going to give you guys a baseline of what I would do. I mean, ultimately, you can do whatever you want with these Pokemon. I'm going to give you the reasons why I built them the way I did. If you want to use the movesets I created, cool. If not, no big deal. Hopefully, at least my raid builds inspire you to build something a little different. Or, I mean, end goal here is just to have some efficient Pokemon and to have some more Pokemon in your box. So when little Jimmy, Grandma Beth invites you over to a 6-star raid, you have something other than Iron Hands in your box. So with that being said, let's start off with Mewtwo. If you've seen any of my other raid build videos, I've talked about how sometimes a legendary Pokemon doesn't mean that it's automatically good. Mewtwo's okay. He's fine. Starting off the bat, Mewtwo has two pretty absolutely useless abilities in raids. Both Pressure and Unnerve are 100% worthless in raids, unfortunately, so it doesn't matter which one you pick. Mewtwo has some great base stats. If you saw my Zacian build, you saw that Zacian has just an astounding attack stat, and Mewtwo has an outstanding, so outstanding I can barely talk, outstanding special attack stat. The attack stat you'll probably never use, and then speed, which is not that important in raids. Although if you look at the current, as I'm recording this video, the current 5 and 6-star raids, there's maybe 1 or 2 Pokemon that get over base speed 100. At that point, you're pretty much like outspeeding everything anyways with Mewtwo without any speed investment. Probably, if you're watching this, you've probably done a 5 or 6-star raid where like speed can kind of matter, except when the boss decides to go like 3 times in a row. And it's like, well, I'm faster, but none of this matters because the boss just gets to go as many times as it wants. So, you know, speed is always like that weird thing in raids. And one of the problems with psychic types is that it only hits for fighting and poison, so not that great of coverage. Mewtwo does have a signature move. So Side Strike is a special type move that's 100 power and 100 accuracy. So it's better than Psychic, except for what it actually does. The slight problem with this is Mewtwo doesn't have a way to lower the target's defense stat. If we look at a move like Acid Spray, which lowers the special defense, that's completely irrelevant here, even though this is a special type move. That's kind of the weird thing. So it uses Mewtwo's special attack stat, which is great. It takes advantage of Nasty Plot, which is great, but it will always specifically target the defense. So it's a very situational move. This move would be really bad against like Cloyster or Avalugg because their defense stats are so high. It would be really good against like a Blissey because Blissey's defense stat is terrible and its special defense stat is really high. So it's a very situational move. It can totally be used, but I don't think it's like the move you would have on it all the time. I think it's the move that you would change right before going into a raid battle, knowing what the opponent has. Another good example would be like Chestnut, the 7-star Chestnut raid. Chestnut's defense stat is its highest stat, so Psychic would be the better choice over Side Strike. Just a very situational move. It's a cool move, but incredibly situational. And Mewtwo, if Mewtwo had like a move to take advantage of this, like Screech, it'd be much, much better. And before we go over to all the moves I am recommending, Mewtwo gets a lot of moves, just a ton. It gets a lot of physical and special, although a lot of these physical moves I just wouldn't recommend. I mean, attack of 110 is still really good, but you really do want to lean into the 154. And Mewtwo doesn't have an amazing typing or amazing abilities, so you might as well take advantage of its amazing special attack stat. So what I'm recommending for my Mewtwo is Psychic Terrain, Nasty Plot, and Life Dew holding the Twisted Spoon. Now, Shell Bell is an incredibly popular item on a lot of Pokemon, and you could use it here too. There's a lot of hell items you could use if you wanted to. But I think it's cool that Mewtwo gets access to Life Dew. So not only will Mewtwo get health back, but your team will get health back. Again, if you're new here, I like to build Pokemon that at least have one move that affects the entire team for group play. But I wanted to do more of an attacking Mewtwo. You have Psychic and you have Nasty Plot and you have Psychic Terra. And so that's, I think everyone understands how that works. You know, you Nasty Plot once or twice, Psychic till you get to Terra. The raid boss decides to reset your stats. At least you have Terra, so you have the more damage happening, and then you can Nasty Plot again. I'm also including Psychic Terrain because Psychic Terrain will give Psychic another 30% boost on top of what Nasty Plot is doing. And the great thing about Psychic Terrain, not only is Mewtwo getting that 30% boost, but any other Psychic Pokemon standing next to you is getting that 30% boost as well. And the other great thing about Psychic Terrain is the raid boss can't clear it like it can your stats. So if you Nasty Plot twice, the raid boss can clear your stats. But when it does that, it doesn't clear the terrain. Obviously, it could get rid of the terrain using its own terrain or using a move that would get rid of terrain, like Steel Roller. I think it's Steel Roller, although I don't know if it's in this game. I think it's in this game. With the Twisted Spoon, with Nasty Plot, with Psychic Terrain, with the 154 modest special attack stat, this Mewtwo should be able to do so much damage against, I guess, fighting and poison, because those are weak to Psychic, I suppose. But you have two moves here that benefit the entire team and also benefit you, obviously. The other thing I want to mention is Mewtwo gets access to Safeguard, which is another really cool move. So Safeguard would prevent burn, it would prevent sleep, it would prevent paralysis, it would prevent all those status conditions, and that also lasts 5 turns like Psychic Terrain. And that would be really great, you know, if you're going up against like an Amoonguss or something. No one has a really good way to stop sleep from happening. And a lot of Pokemon in Gen 8 got Safeguard, and they actually rolled that back. So less and less Pokemon have gotten Safeguard. So I always like to Safeguard's a really great move. It's a really great, you don't have to worry about the raid shield going up. And then Mewtwo also gets access to Chilling Water. I think Chilling Water is also really good here if you're going against a physical Pokemon and you want to lower its physical attack. It does get access to Recover. I think Life Dew is just better here. You'll get a little bit more recovery from Recover. But because raids are a team-based situation, I think Life Dewing your team gets you way more mileage than just hitting Recover on yourself. Mewtwo also gets access to like Light Screen and Reflect, but I do think there are better Light Screen and Reflectors out there. Yeah, I think Mewtwo's really cool. Mewtwo's one of your favorite Pokemon. I'm sure you'll want to bring it to raids, so hopefully this sparks some ideas for you. Okay, let's talk about Mew. Mew is, I think, the first mythical we're building here. Mew has the same type as Mewtwo, but a slightly better ability of Synchronize. This means if Mew gets like paralyzed, if the raid boss paralyzes Mew, then the raid boss ends up being paralyzed because it synchronizes that status condition back and forth. Mew's base stats are really cool. It's just all 100s across the board. So you could break... unlike Mewtwo, Mewtwo obviously more powerful than Mew in the special attack department and technically the physical attack department. But you could go all in on a physical Mew. If you don't know, I think everyone knows this, but one of Mew's gimmicks is it can learn every TM available in the game. So from TM1 to I don't even know how many TMs are in this game. TM 171 Terra Blast. So it can learn 171 moves, and then it gets a couple moves it learns normally by level up. Now this was a little bit hard because when you can learn almost 200 different moves, how do you build around that? We just built a really strong psychic attacker with Mewtwo, so it would kind of feel like a waste to build another psychic attacker. So I'm going to go a little different here. Bear with me. Again, my raid builds, you don't have to copy them to a T. They're just to help you out, especially if you're in builders. You have builder block. You don't know what to build. You don't know where to start. But with Mew, we are actually going to have it be a ghost Terra type, and we're going to have it hold on to the Wise glasses. Usually I match the Terra types to get the same type attack bonus and, all that stuff. But I'll explain that in a second. So our moveset is going to be Shadow Ball, Acid Spray, Chilling Water, and Snarl. On the Chilling Water side, if you're against a physical attacker, you can start off with at least one, but 1 or 2 Chilling Waters to protect your team and to protect yourself. If you're on the special side, you can start off with 1 or 2 Snarls to protect your team or to protect yourself. On top of that, both those moves add to your Terra so you can Terra faster. This may be the first video you're watching of mine, or maybe you're unfamiliar with raids. But if you nasty plot 3 times, you still have to use a move like Psychic 3 times in order to terastallize. It's every damaging move you do. With Chilling Water and Snarl, not only are you doing a status effect or a stat drop on the raid boss, but you are also adding to your Terra. Now, Mew has the best raid move in the entire game, which is Acid Spray. Acid Spray is ultimately nasty plot, except it's nasty plot for your entire team, because instead of you getting a +2, a nasty plot, the raid boss gets a -2, which is ultimately giving every single one of your teammates a +2. You Acid Spray again, all your teammates are technically at +4 because the raid boss is at -4. Technically, I'm doing air quotes. So why Ghost Terra type and why Shadow Ball? Great question. Person watching this YouTube video and making it to the, I don't know, 12-minute mark. If you made it this far, please tell me in the comments if you saw the very first Pokemon movie. I saw it in theaters, and whether or not you enjoyed that movie. I actually, as a 10-year-old seeing that in movie theaters, was very upset there was not an epic battle between Mew and Mewtwo, and I felt like I didn't get my money's worth because I expected a huge, fantastic Pokemon battle, and they didn't really fight at all. So feel free to comment which one you like. Okay, so Psychic Pokemon are weak to Bug, Ghost, and Dark, and they're super effective against fighting and poison. Ghost Pokemon are super effective against Psychic and Ghost, not very effective against Dark. Pure Psychic can't hit Dark. Ghost Pokemon are weak to Ghost and Dark. So we're going Shadow Ball and Ghost type Terra is because we remove one weakness. Both Ghost and Psychic are weak to Ghost and Dark, but Psychic is also weak to Bug, so we remove one weakness. Psychic cannot hit Dark at all. We can at least hit Dark for not very effective. Psychic is super effective against fighting, but we don't need that because we have Mewtwo, and super effective against poison. But man, we've built so many Pokemon that can handle poison Pokemon just fine. So while going Ghost, we'll be able to hit Psychic and Ghost for super effective, but we will also be able to hit a lot of Pokemon for neutral damage. Or you could just keep Mew as Psychic and just have Psychic there instead of Shadow Ball. But if you're building both Mewtwo and Mew and you've made it this far, I think you're probably like, yeah, I don't need 2 strong Psychic type attackers in my box. Maybe I should have a little variety. And I think Mew definitely gives a lot of variety. I think though, if you're to change your Mew in any way, I do strongly think that Acid Spray should still stay there. I am genuine in saying that I do think it's the best move in the game. Another interesting move that Mew gets, actually by level up, is Aura Sphere, which is a special fighting type move. So that also works with Acid Spray. But the cool thing about Aura Sphere is that it ignores accuracy and evasion. So you don't have to worry about missing at all with Aura Sphere. And then you could terastallize Mew to like a fighting Terra type to get that same type attack bonus on it. With this current build, you could put an Assault Vest on it if you want Mew to be a little bit bulkier. You could put Shell Bell, you could put Metronome, you could put Spell Tag. There's so many things you can do. So anytime I do raid builds, whether it's this video or another video, I don't want you to think like, there isn't more options out there. It's why on my graphics, I put 6 moves instead of 4, because like people have different play styles. I don't want people to feel like they're in a box, like, oh, I need these 4 moves and I need this item and I can't change it in any way. No, like you can totally be flexible. I've changed moves like right before a raid and then like changed them back after the raid because I knew I only needed a one-off thing. I've changed held items before depending on the situation. So I don't want you to think like you're stuck in this box when it comes to raid building. There's Mewtwo and Mew. I hope that inspires you to like build them. I think they're worth building. I think Mew is like really great. I think it's really fun. It's one of those Pokemon where like need like Chilling Water for this raid so I can squeeze in Giga Drain instead, or I can squeeze in Surf, or I can squeeze in Pollen Puff to like heal my teammates. Or Life Dew, that works too. Like there are so many different moves you can put on Mew, but I think Acid Spray is the one that stays on Mew for sure. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We still have the Sinnoh Legends and the Galarian birds and the horses. We still have a lot more Pokemon to cover, so I'm getting through them as fast as possible. Thanks for your patience. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.